All right, yeah, thanks guys for coming out. Certainly elated that we won the game tonight. I knew this was going to be a difficult challenge. Watching them on film, they're veterans, they're athletes. I knew they were going. You play teams like this, they play very freely in these games. They come in. They really don't have a whole lot to lose. So early in the game, they're banking in threes, they're making shots. Then, because we couldn't get stops, then they got a lot of confidence. Now you come to halftime, and you're in for a dogfight, and that's what we had tonight. Give Binghamton a lot of credit. I do want to wish their coach Lavelle Sanders, who was not here tonight. He's a friend of mine. We have Seton Hall connections, back in the day. When I started my career there, I got to know Lavelle. He was a great player at Seton Hall. We've been friends, and I know he had a family emergency in Europe, that he needed to take care of, and just want to wish him and his family the best, and he should be proud of his team. They fought their tails off tonight, but we're a work in progress. We're not nearly where we need to be yet by the time we get to the meat of the season, but you hopefully can learn lessons by winning games. And I thought in the second half we got back to kind of playing like we can play defensively. We held them to 22 points. Thought we were more physical. We kept the ball in front of us. We forced tougher shots. We got back in transition. They weren't running as much, and it was much more indicative, and which was encouraging considering there was a lot of game pressure on us. Obviously, Boo and Brooks were fantastic. I thought there was a stretch there when we had to rest Boo when the game was in the balance, when he got his third and fourth foul. I thought Brooks made some big plays there. He got to the line, to kind of steady us. I think he made 4 or 6 free throws. And, I was really impressed with Blake Preston and Jordan Clayton off the bench. I thought those guys both came in, gave us great minutes. It was good to have Nick back. Some of you baseball guys know we had to have him on a little bit of a pitch count tonight. Unfortunately, we're bringing him back off of a foot injury, and we got to be smart. But it was good that we were able to at least get him out there for 8 minutes, and he's going to be a key guy going forward for our depth, which is going to be huge. And just excited to win, man. Winning is hard. People just assume a lot of times. A bunch of people were telling me scores already, teams in our league that have lost or we're losing at halftime to, that's how it is in college basketball. Everybody has good players, and you got to play well. You got to be ready to play, and you got to do what's necessary to win. And we did that tonight. And was it perfect? No. Did we play our very best? No. But we won the game, and a lot of guys stepped up and made big plays, which was encouraging.
Coach, what do you think was the change defensively for you in the second half? Was that refocusing at halftime, change something with scheme? What clicked for you guys?
A couple things. Great question. First and foremost, get back in transition. I thought in the first half they really had us on our heels. They were getting the ball out fast. They were pushing the ball. We were getting cross-matched in transition. They were getting quick drives. They were getting to the basket. They were getting threes. I thought we slowed them down. That was the first thing. I thought we got better in our gap help. We weren't as spread out on the dribble penetration as we were in the first half. I thought they were able to exploit with some spacing, getting driving kicks. Give them credit. They made some threes tonight. That normally hasn't been, what they do. They normally have been a two, but some guys, especially in the first half, stepped up and made shots. And I just thought we slowed the game down. It was going too fast for us. They were quick. They were athletic. They were trying to play a frenetic game, and that really didn't play into our hands. So I thought we got it more possession by possession. We were able to run our sets in the second half, slow the game down, get the things we wanted, and then get the stops we needed.
Coach, what would you say the message was to your team, not only at halftime when you guys were trailing, but even kind of deep into that second half when the game was a one-score affair?
Yeah, I just said we got to grind it out. That's who we are. Guys, look, you probably, as good as we played, we talk about how good our team was last year. We struggled early last year, but we found ways to win. We had games we won where we shot under 30%, last year, and it wasn't pretty, and we were trying to figure out, but we figured out how to grind out wins, and that was what was most encouraging. I just kept telling the guys at halftime, I said, it's a 20-minute fight. We're down 3. It's a 20-minute fight. Let's grind it out. That's who we are. Let's dig down. Let's roll our sleeves up. We're in a dog fight right now. We just got to do what's necessary to win the game. And that was kind of the message in every time out and every time we got together.
The middle.
Coach, the slow defensive start, would you attribute that to just rust or breaking in some new guys on the team, or some guys who were on the team last year leaving? What would you chalk that up to?
I think all of the above. I think everything you said. We are integrating new guys. Learning kind of new defensive principles. It's not an excuse by any means, but we've had a lot of disruption with injury. So we really haven't had a lot of practices where we've had our guys, a full complement of guys. We've been dealing, and everybody does. It's not an excuse. It's just the reality. We're still kind of getting guys back and figuring out rotations. But, the new guys kind of learning what's expected of them with the defense. Guys kind of figuring out with this group how to be most successful on that end of the floor. And we had breakdowns. I mean, there's no question. And we got to, the great thing is learning from winning, though. I mean, we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to clean up. I did think we did a lot better things defensively in the second half, but in the first half. And again, the first game of the year, guys, I always get nervous as a coach a little bit because I know what it means to the players. Like when I remember when I played, like the first game, these guys, you remember, we haven't played since March. So from March up until November 6th, these guys have been building for tonight. You're in the weight room, you're watching film, you're getting extra shots. So you feel a little bit more on opening night. You feel a little bit more pressure. There's a few more jitters, and that's why hopefully you can throw yourself into playing defense and energy and all those things. And that's why the good thing about tonight was we were able to grind through a sluggish start and a tough start and beat a team that had a lot of confidence going into halftime.
To have to fight hard for every point tonight. What do you think the team can do looking forward to generate more fast break points?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to be opportunistic. I don't necessarily think we're going to be a team that plays up and down. I think with long rebounds and turnovers, we got to be opportunistic and take advantage of those when we have numbers. And if not, we have to execute and we have to get, I feel like we have more offensive firepower, than we had a year ago. Now we'll see if we can be the defensive team and things like that. But, adding Ryan, Nick is going to be a big part of this, and I'm really excited to see as he gets healthy, how we can get him into the mix and get him back. You're seeing with Blake Preston what he can bring. And again, I was really proud of Jordan Clayton. He's had a little bit of a knee injury and has missed the last couple of weeks, has only had a few practices. And for him to come in as a freshman and give us that dirty work and that defense was pretty impressive.
Coach, Boo, Brooks, and Ryan combined to shoot 75% of this team's shots. Was
Yeah.
that kind of a plan going into the game, or was it just kind of what just entailed?
I think it's what the game entailed. I think Ty's going to be in that mix. I thought Ty got out of sorts with foul trouble early, and we never kind of could get him in the rhythm, and he's a guy that we expect. We want those four guys to be kind of the focus of what we're doing. And like I said, I think Martinelli has that potential as well. I think, and our big guys are going to be opportunistic. I mean, they're going to be lob threats. They're going to be roll guys. And I mean, there were games last year, right, when they sell out on the guards where Matt got 4 or 5 dunks in a game. You saw tonight Blake got a couple of those. But, I mean, we're, Ryan, Brooks, Boo, and Ty, kind of our 4 offensive weapons. And it's up to me to get those guys shots. I mean, not that we don't want those other guys to shoot, but those are the guys we want to have the ball. And like we saw the other night, right? Boo didn't get a ton of shots because they were just making him kick, and he got 9 assists, and we made 13 threes. So I think it's kind of what the game's going to entail, but certainly tonight we needed all 3 of those guys to score to get the win.
Coach, you talked about Ryan being a big part of the offense. He created his own shot while also being an off-ball threat, but do you see him as a potential ball handler when Boo's off the court, or are you looking at Brooks or other options?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of the above. I mean, I think Jordan Clayton is going to be a guy too that can spell with some ball handling. I thought you saw too. There's some stuff we do where we get Boo off the ball, where we get Ryan at the top of the floor, and it allows us to get Boo coming off some screens and doing some things where he's just not always the one in the ball screens. I think Ryan's going to be a really good secondary ball handler, and then we see Brooks. Brooks is just a matchup issue. for a lot of people. He brought the ball up the floor a lot tonight, and he's our quote-unquote power forward, but he's not. He's a guard, but he's big and strong. He can post. If you put a smaller guy, he's going to back you right under the basket. He's going to get to the line. So I think you can do a lot of creative things with him. But to your point, I think ball handling wise, to help, it's going to be Ryan, Brooks, and Clayton. When Boo needs a little bit breather in that regard.
Coach, you talked about Jordan a lot. 17 minutes, 0 turnovers in his official debut.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, what did it mean to you to see him play that well? And can we expect him to get those kind of minutes, or was that more of a function of foul trouble?
Yeah, I think it was game by game. I mean, look, I don't come into a game. The only thing I came into the game was knowing Nick had to play low minutes because I was under strict instructions, and we got to be smart and make sure we can have him for the long haul. But other than knowing that I only had him in really short bursts, I'm trying to win the game, and so tonight, I felt Jordan's defense. He was very solid. He was guarding the ball. He was keeping the ball in front of him. He was playing tough. He wasn't turning the ball over. I thought we needed him on the floor. And again, obviously Ty's going to have many nights where he plays a lot more than 18 minutes. He was just kind of out of sorts tonight, and that happens. There's going to be nights where other guys are a little bit out. He got 2 quick fouls, and it was just hard to kind of get him back into the rhythm of the game. And, that's on me to help with that and get him going. But it was nice to have a guy like Jordan step up and really play a big role in us winning tonight.
In rebounding tonight, is that something you and him talked about this offseason, being more aggressive on the glass?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We need it. I mean, we're obviously, as we play some of the teams, there'll be times when we're a little bit undersized, and we don't want to put it all on our big guys to have to get all the rebounds. So I think Brooks is going to be a guy. He got 11 defensive rebounds tonight. I mean, just workman-like on the glass. And then everyone has to chip in. Our guards are going to have to rebound. I mean, we say we call it, we got a gang rebound, which means the whole gang's got to get in there and you got to rebound. So it was great to see him have that kind of production on the glass, though, and he's capable of it. I mean, he's such a good player. I mean, 4 steals, 13 rebounds, and he had some finishes. I mean, he could have very easily had about 25 points. They made some nice blocks, and he missed a couple shots he normally misses around the basket.
Coach, you had 25 assists, 3 turnovers against McKendree. You had 13 and 12 tonight. Do you just kind of attribute that to Binghamton's pressure, or was it something else?
A little bit of both. I thought I thought Boo had a couple sloppy ones. He's got to clean up. He had the push off first, third foul. I thought the last turnover against the press, we had a couple where we kind of got the ball stripped from us. But my goal coming into the game is I'd like for us to be 2-1 or as close to that as possible. We've always kind of really taken care of the ball. And we try to be under 10. That's kind of our magic number. Can we be under 10 turnovers? So, we were 2 behind that tonight. I thought part of it was them. I thought they really got after us a little bit. Their physicality and kind of quickness, got their hands on some balls and some deflections and steals. So give them credit. But, with probably a few too many than I would have liked. But we're also going to be a function of assists. We have to share the ball. We're not a one-on-one team. Boo can do it a little bit, Brooks can do it a little bit, but we got to be a function of ball movement and spacing and getting people in closeouts and move and kind of doing that. And we got to do a little bit better job of that. I thought we got a little bit stagnant, a little bit too much one-on-one at times.
But Justin Mullins played only 8 minutes tonight. You mentioned it. You kind of figure out the game flow based on what happened. What did you see from him, and do you think he could see a bigger role going forward?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's an athlete. He's a wing. He's a young player. You got him and Jordan as 2 young guys that we're counting on. Absolutely. And he was able to get his feet wet a little bit. It was an opportunity to get out there and play. And I told the guys after the game, we need everybody. This is going to be a long year. You don't know from game to game. And I use the example of Martinelli. I mean, the first 10 to 15 games last year, Martinelli wasn't getting in any games, right? And then, he becomes a really key piece to the team we became. So all these guys who are young players just got to keep working. They got to keep getting the experience. They got to keep themselves ready. And we have confidence in all of them that they can play.
Coach, you mentioned, depending on the matchup, you guys might be a little bit undersized. After seeing him in the exhibition, no Luke Hunger tonight, was that just a product of the matchup or just part of the process of him recovering from the injury? Or
Yeah, just kind of matchup. Again, I want him to stay ready. To me, the way we play, I mean, Brooks is going to be on the floor a lot, and he's kind of in that second big guy. And we just played a team that played all guards, So I mean, you're not gonna come out and play a jumbo lineup, against the team. We even had to go super small late in the game. We got that lead, and they went 5 guards, and they exposed Matt on a couple, and we had to get him out, so we could match up. So sometimes in these non-league games, it's a little bit harder with the bigger guys. But Luke's working hard. He's healthy. He's ready to go, and I want him to stay encouraged that his opportunity is coming as well.
Coach, now you're looking to Friday against Dayton, one of the A-10 favorites. What does it mean to kind of have this early non-conference test, and what kind of challenges they kind of face?
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason why we scheduled the game. I mean, we went out. We're going to have a home and home. We'll return the game next year. Not having the ACC Big Ten Challenge, us not being in the Gavitt games, we normally would have a couple opportunities through those challenges to get some high level early in the season. We didn't have that. So we specifically wanted – to play a high-level team early to see where we're at, and we got a terrific team coming. I haven't seen a lot of them. I watched some of their game. They played Ohio State in a charity exhibition, but I haven't, I'll start diving in tonight. Obviously, as coaches, man, you lock in on what's in front of you. And you saw we had our hands full tonight, so that's what I needed to do. But now that this game's in the rear view, we'll lock in on them. I've heard great things about their big, their post player, Deron Holmes. I've got a lot of respect for Anthony Grant. I know they got athletes. I know they're going to try to bring their fans in here. I'm encouraging, the students, our fans. Like, we need you Friday night. We do. I know how Dayton rolls. They have a great fan base, and they're going to try to bring the red into the building. And we need to make sure this is an electric atmosphere for us. And it starts with our students, our Wild side. So appreciate the ones that came out tonight, and we need to have a Big Ten level, high level crowd atmosphere ready for Friday night, because we're gonna have our hands full with a terrific Dayton team.
Yeah, on the opposing side tonight, Samir Torrance,
Yeah.
he was one of the problems in the first
Yeah.
half. What did you see out of him, and what adjustments did you make specifically for him at halftime?
Yeah, I've known Samir really well. We actually recruited him a little bit when he was in high school. He played for my best friend, Steve Wojciechowski, for a couple years at Marquette. So I've watched him play a lot. He's a really good player. I knew, once I saw they had him, as we did, I was like, oh, man, he's going to be good at Binghamton. He's a leader. He's tough. Thought he had a great first half. I thought we did a really good job forcing him into 8 turnovers. Was really big, but he's going to have a heck of a year for them. He's a good player, a really good floor leader, and it's going to be indicative of kind of the guys we're going to see. So really good to play against someone like that in opening night.
Last question.
Coming off such a special season like last season, how do you balance trying to maintain some of those standards and the energy and the traditions from last year while also letting this year's team in the locker room be its own thing and be its own fresh?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the whole message. I mean, I have not talked about last year with these guys at all. I mean, to me, I said, like, I'll talk about last year when we have reunions, when we bring them back in 10 years and I'm an old man and we come out on the floor and hopefully we can hug and see a banner up or something and talk about all we did last year. I haven't talked about that one time with this group. It's all been about this group. We know we got to get better. We're integrating. It's a whole new team, new roles, new thing. Every team is different. Some of the things we did last year, we're probably not going to be able to do this year, and vice versa on both ends. And that's on us to figure it out while hopefully you can still win. So, I mean, we're all about now and not looking back and trying to figure out how we can get really good with this group. I like this group of guys. They like each other. They've worked really hard. They want to win. They want to be about the right things. And guys, we would not have won if we weren't about the right things tonight. The way that was going, the way Binghamton was playing, the game pressure that was on us. If we didn't have a strong culture of grit and toughness to dig down, we probably wouldn't have won tonight. So that was probably the best thing that came out of the win.
Thank you.
All right, guys, be good. See you Friday night.
Thanks, Coach.